The year is 2025. Prism has been gone for 3 years. We have no new Light Illusionist hero. Every product released with art on it is Light Illusionist themed. The new supplemental set is all Light Illusionist cards. Prizing for Worlds is a giant Prism cold foil card. The game is renamed Flesh and Prism. Okay, I mean we can start. There's lots of stuff to talk about, and it wasn't really
Yeah.
in that order that we had planned on. But the ProQuest pricing was announced, and I immediately had to send it to you guys because
Well,
the
obviously.
coins look amazing.
Yes. Super excited.
Yeah, but the sleeves. Can we? I mean, I don't know how many times we have to talk about the fact that Light Illusionist is every ounce of bling this game has like had. It seems like for the last I don't even know how long is just puked into Light Illusionist
Yeah.
or just Illusionist, right? Even just now, like Illusionist. If you look at it, if you did the math, I wonder what the percentage would be of Illusionist themed supplemental items because all of the
Promotional
dragons,
items,
yeah, like
basically, is how I think. Yeah.
even sleeves, like the dragons, all of the dragons got
Mhm.
sleeves. Dromai has sleeves. Prism has sleeves. Now we have the Soraya sleeves. Like half the sleeves that this game has ever produced have something illusionist on them.
I want someone to do that math, actually. That would, I'm not going to. I don't have time. But, like, if someone did that, that would be amazing because I would be really curious to know what it is between, like, promotional cards, even. Like,
Yeah,
because think of all of the, like, extended art, all the different types of heralds
illusionist.
and all
Yeah,
the, it's just like, Jesus.
yeah. That's why I couldn't help that. I feel like I was actually I was kind of underwhelmed. You know, I don't know if it's just if Elon screwed it up for me or what, but people seem
Mhm.
not as Twitter active maybe as they have been. I felt like I nailed. I felt like I really
That
nailed
was a
the
really
meme.
good, that was a really great meme.
Yeah,
I
and
enjoyed it
I
thoroughly.
think when I checked after a couple hours, it had like 2 likes, which is really low for like a really quality fab meme. And I even expected, to be completely honest, there was part of me that
Time of day.
even expected maybe a little, backlash because people were probably excited for it. Like maybe at least somebody would be mad at me. Not even all positive. Like if somebody could even be mad at me, I'd be fine with that.
Right.
At least get the interaction I deserve for a high quality meme. I had to go on my phone and use the internet and type it out and like generate that meme. Like it's I spent a little while doing that. I don't know what the deal was. So
No one cares, Blake.
apparently
No
not.
one.
I don't know. That's not that wasn't even the hottest. The hottest take that I got today actually, which this is again not really game related per se, but Gary Lynch, which I just have to respond to this because I thought it was such a great it was such a high quality comment. I love good comments, and we've talked about this before that we should like really call out the best comment of the week more often because we get a lot of good comments. I feel like for a long time we got almost nothing on the podcast,
Yeah.
and then in the last, I don't know if it's been 6 months or maybe a little more, it feels like the comments have really stepped up and people are bringing the heat. They're returning the heat that we put out in our podcast where we just say whatever we want or how we feel. They're giving us,
Yeah. Yeah.
more energy in our comments. So Gary Mack, this was like my favorite comment this week, said Blake must have the body temperature of a lizard. Dude, you are inside, but you always have a stocking cap and a hoodie on. Buy a space heater, turn the furnace on, do something for the love
For
of
the love
God.
of God.
I
Yeah.
I mainly liked it. I loved it because that's the prime example of the fact that we have so much interaction with people in terms of we give them a lot of information and then obviously we get some interaction back, whether it's on Twitter or random things like this week having somebody, tag me in Discord because we apparently randomly played on Snap, which was pretty awesome. But
Yeah.
sometimes I think people, they only really know us through the podcast, like through the YouTube and maybe a little on
Mm-hmm.
Twitter. And I just want to assure Gary that I actually have, I'm a pretty warm-bodied person. I just really like my stocking cap. So I just wear it all the time. I actually wear my stocking cap. Dane can confirm. It'll be 90 degrees outside, and I just put it on sometimes because I just like to wear my stocking cap. So it's okay. I don't have like a disorder. I'm not, I don't have thin blood or anything. I'm Midwest born and Midwest raised, so I'm very adjusted to the cold. But Gary won my favorite comment of the week just because of the comparison. It was a very intense comment for the fact that I just like to wear hoodies and stocking caps all the time. I felt like it was really aggressive. It's like, for the love of God, man, turn the heat on. It's like, no, I got the heat on, and we're good. Don't worry about it. So
sorry, I'm quick posting my surgical strike or my surgical
extractions. Yeah,
because I ordered non-foils because for Assassin, it makes me feel like it's not very assassin-y to make them foil.
Yeah.
Assassins are supposed to be like low-key, right? So perfect excuse to not foil out a deck for once in my life. So I ordered non-foils of everything, and I got sent rainbow foil surgical extractions. So it's like,
yeah,
we're gonna
flip
those.
I mean, assassin cards in general are just ridiculous, right? Specifically surgical extraction. I haven't actually looked. Have you looked at any of the other ones? Because I'm curious what everybody else's pull rates have been, because
I heard from somewhere that surgical extraction was like 1 in 10 boxes.
That's what I've seen based on what other people have said.
Crazy.
Yeah, I that's all of the information I've had. It seems like that's around the math of it, which is absolutely insane. It blows my mind that any single card would ever have a drop rate that low in the Majestic slot. Like, that just, I don't understand how that even happens, because it has massively affected the price of that deck. I think the price of the other ones are actually pretty good. I just looked them up to double check that nothing's changed. But the other Assassin Majestics in Leave No Witnesses and Eradicate are $13 and $10. And then Payday is only $3. So there are 4 Majestics. One of them's low, which you kind of expect, right? It's not uncommon to have maybe the least favored Majestic or a random Majestic in a class be low. But the other 2 that are good, high quality Majestics in Leave No Witnesses and Eradicate are $10 and $13, which is probably, I mean, that's about the price that I would like. I would like all Majestics to be in that price range.
Yeah, around that seems totally reasonable.
I think anything under $20, 10 to 15 being the kind of ideal area for like a non-foil Majestic. It's good for box value. I just don't know if surgical, I guess the question is, was surgical that uncommon on purpose, or did something just go weird?
Sure.
Because I don't know what the value is in short printing something that hard.
I don't because I don't know if it was on purpose. I wonder if it was just like maybe that's just because like what's the pull rate of like other aren't all Majestics are just difficult to pull if you want to play, if you're looking for a play set, right?
Specifically a play set, yeah. There's a really
so many.
high number of Majestics in this set, which that's what happens when you get to where we are now, which is as many classes as we have, and then each class got 2 or 3 Majestics. You run into the issue that you're gonna have a hard time making sure that everybody gets access to,
because like
a play set of everything.
I wonder, because I know that like people also opened a ton of boxes and got like 1 Leave No Witnesses.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like I wonder if like how different the ratio actually is,
and
how much like surgical extraction, such like a quality Majestic that so many people want. I wonder if that's why that's drawn the attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Somebody did point out there was a joke that you kind of makes you wonder if there was just like some crossed communication in the process, because you got to print stuff and you got to package it and you got to, all of that. You have to add in all the algorithms or whatever when it comes to doing these things, right? And somebody pointed out, they said, "Wait, did they change they change something in the numbers or the printing, and was Regicide supposed to be printed at that drop rate
Oh,
because you
in
only need
that.
one, and then Surgical Extraction should have been printed in the Regicide because Regicide's like $1. Now, granted, that has more to do with the fact that you
Oh,
can only run one, and they have an extended art,
well,
and they have the blackout.
yes, but also like I was at Viral, the shop that's like 4 minutes from my house,
Yeah.
and he said that he opened. I think he said he opened 6 cases,
Okay.
and he had at least 8 regicides in his stack,
Yeah.
like in his like stack of cards. So it's like that's just a higher rate than
It seems higher than Surgical.
surgical extraction for sure. And
Yeah.
it's a legendary. So I actually wouldn't. I don't know.
Yeah. I just don't. It's a strange thing. It's one of those things that I think it feels worse than it typically would, specifically because Assassin is a new class that so many people are excited for. And when you have to drop potentially $120, like to think that a set of Majestics would cost you as much as the legendary boots is kind of insane, just
Mm-hmm.
because we're talking about a non-foil Majestic. I just, in my
Yeah.
brain, I have a hard time thinking that that was the intention. And part of me wonders if we'll hear anything about that, or if it's just something that they're hoping will correct itself, or what exactly their approach is going to be to that, because it does look bad, mainly in the sense that it's a pretty necessary card for the deck if you really want the deck to run
Right.
well. And the difference between having it and not having it is meaningful. In some matchups, it's like so incredibly important, because
Right.
into Guardians or Kano or Wizards in general, it's a huge linchpin to what the deck is trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish. So to just not have access to it because it's wildly short printed, it seems like, is a pretty
Mm-hmm.
bad feeling. And to introduce a new class and then say, oh, by the way, it's going to cost you $40 a pop for this one card to go into the deck, I think you're going to end up with a lot of people who are kind of upset and maybe just veer away from the deck, which is unfortunate because it's a really cool, interesting concept of a deck to be introducing to the game, and to have people turned off from it because it costs so much to get into,
Which is kind of leads us to one of our other points we want to talk on tonight, which
Yeah.
was something reared its ugly head yet again. The this game is too expensive monster
Yeah.
has spoken once more.
Well, and the irony of that was the fact that the card that brought it up is none other than the card that has basically been the the war cry of the "this game is too expensive" crowd, which is Command and
Mm-hmm.
Conquer. We're back again. Every time at this point, the question is James White walking into the design room and going, "We're gonna do something with Command and Conquer because I just want to troll these people." Is it just a troll that they did that? Like what's
I think it's hilarious. Let's take one of the most expensive cards that's notorious for being such like an expensive staple, and let's just blast its rarity. We're not making it less rare, so it devalues the OG Command and Conquers. We're
Mhm.
making it more rare, just to fuck with people.
It becomes
Got
the
your reprints. Got your reprints right here.
I I actually really like the card. I think
Me
in
too. I think it's awesome. I
yeah.
think it's a cool thing to do too.
Yep.
Like, imagine if they did that for like E-Strike for a set. It
Yeah.
was just like that's awesome. It doesn't affect.
The playability of the card, it doesn't
Yeah.
affect the accessibility of the card in any way. I mean, if anything,
Right.
technically it should push the value of the older ones down. Not that it will, because
I don't think it will. But
yeah,
like, theoretically, like in the
theoretically,
math equation.
now there are more Command and Conquers available, but it's very rare that you're going to see someone drop $1,000 on 3 Command and Conquers to run the Fabled. But I do I do like it, and it kind of opens up a discussion. I'm curious about your thoughts on it because I know where I stand on Fabled and their playability and accessibility, but Command and Conquer being a reprint in the Fabled spot that just makes for a higher rarity version and a fancier version of a card that already exists in the game in the Fabled slot versus printing, say, something like Library or Blood of Drakai or Eye of Ophidia.
Yeah.
Personally, I prefer the Command and Conquer's take on Fabled as opposed to what we've seen up to this point.
Yeah, no, like I think as far as how it makes me feel, I think the Command and Conquer being in the Fabled slot is more boring. That's less exciting to me as like introducing like a cool one of gem that some decks might want to run sometime. Like how like Kano loved Eye. And it's like that's cool because it's a Fabled card that's not necessary. And like I will not argue you on the fact that it's also not a bad thing. Like it's not like printing Command and Conquer in the Fabled slot was in any way not good. It's just if I had my preference, I would want Fables to be, like cool, interesting, something awesome, like a mechanologist gemstone
that does something
that like you could put under an item and it just like whatever, every time you pitch it, give a steam counter. What it's something like whatever it would be. Like it would be. I mean, just having something cool added to the game. Because this Fabled did nothing.
Yeah, 100%.
Fabled was like a nothing Fabled card.
Right. I would agree that I would agree that the gems are probably the better structure, and maybe that's more of it for me, is that when they've printed the gems, they've effectively done nothing to the game in terms of their like actual power level, right? Like you look at Heart of Fyendal, it's good. It's cool that it gives you a life. It's good in certain decks and in Fatigue Guardian or Icelander decks. Those little points of life make a difference in a long stall game, but really that it doesn't doesn't tip the deck either direction. I think that I prefer Command and Conquer far and away to them printing the landmarks. I think that things like my argument, I guess, is just that something like Library or oh god, what's the other one? The
Tree of Life.
The tree, yeah. Oh my god, I can't even remember the name of it. It's gonna kill me. But I think the issue with those, in my mind, is that they have the potential to be broken because their value is really, really high. Like what they offer is every single turn value. And that's probably the biggest issue is if it sticks, you're just stuck with it. If you can't, like Library was too hard. Library was a mistake in the Fabled spot, in my opinion. I think Library was incredibly problematic when it was really good to the point that it would break the game. And more important than it like breaking the game per se was the fact that what it did for yellow heavy Prism prior to like the Aura builds was it created like this the parallel of the game, the way that the game was played, it tipped it heavily into Prism's favor if she got it out and could get it to stick against a lot of decks and they couldn't interact with it. And what you're doing in that sense is creating a card that is almost necessary for the deck to play at its best power level in order for the deck to win.
Right.
And that's where, to me, a Fable becomes a problem, is when it's kind of a non-negotiable part of a deck. Because to your point, right, like Eye and Kano is good, but you just put a blue Cindering Foresight in there and it really doesn't massively change the power. It's a good card if you see it at the right time, but most of the time it's just fine. It's fine. Every Kano player has, for every story you have of the card being absolutely bonkers, you have a story or two of the card being very vanilla, and you have one horror story where you just, if you would have just been able to block the turn, but you went draw up, Potion of Deja Vu, Energy Potion, Eye of Ophidia, and you're like, okay, I pitched my eye. You're like, energy potion on top. Uh-oh. And now all of a sudden you're like, I can't block. I can't kill them. I can't do anything. I wish I had a card that blocked.
Mm-hmm.
So it
Right.
you know, it's interesting, I guess. That's where fables are always an interesting thing in this game, because we come from Dragon Ball, where there were times with secret rares where they tipped the balance of power. Now they did it to an extreme rate, right? Like the fact that one of the cards just said you can't attack me for the rest of the turn and then got to swing back at you was way more significant than what most fables will ever do in Flesh and Blood. But you know, I don't know. I like Command and Conquer.
Yeah.
I thought it was a cool treatment. I thought it was a cool idea.
It is cool. It's a cool treatment. It's a cool thing. I just also wish that like we didn't now not get a cool Fable card.
Yeah. And I would agree.
Like a cool, like unique thing. So
right.
that's my only thing about it, is I prefer that. And I really thought that for sure it was gonna be a landmark and it was gonna be the throne room.
The throne room.
Like how is that not what it was for this set? Right? Like I mean,
right, yeah.
Maybe that's just me. That felt like that felt so right to me that I wouldn't have even been upset at how obvious of a choice it was for them to make, because it was still that good. Or just like a good, like, having it be the landmark where like you're playing as the assassin, like that's fucking sweet.
Yeah. But that's the problem. Maybe we should have known. This is where LSS is winning.
Oh, it's like my comment today.
Yeah, LSS lives rent free in our head, man. Like at this point, they live rent free in our head, because we have a complete and total incapability of ever guessing anything. We just can't. As much as people want to argue that they guessed something correctly, it's like you got lucky throwing, being the monkey that typed the right word to complete Shakespeare's work when you're the 1,000 monkeys in a thing. We're just 1,000 monkeys with typewriters in a room desperately trying to solve the LSS equation, and LSS goes, no, that's the thing. The equation is always changing. You will never solve the equation.
Right. So, yeah, I'm just going to read what I said, because I thought I was pretty clever.
Well, I thought it was very accurate with what happens when we try to guess.
Yeah, because they just subvert expectations. So I mean, look at every set. Every set has like changed drastically what we were expecting that set to be.
Yeah.
So someone had a comment on some post. I can't remember what it was, and they were just being like funny about it. Someone had posted, "Do we have any confirmed details about the next draftable set?" And then someone was being funny and commented, yeah, so far we've heard that there's going to be 3 to 4 heroes in it, comes in 15 card packs, and just like listed off like the stuff that we've known so far, right? Plus tokens, 24 count booster displays, and we'll have some number of pre-constructed decks. And my comment was LSS reading what the community sees as known data, and it was just like the white girls, hold my poodle, and it's like this next set will feature 2 heroes, 17 card packs, 19 packs per box, 3 boxes in a case, no starter decks. Instead, introducing class supplemental kits. LSS probably. Just because like they always do that. Like when it was not Everfest, right before it, Tales of Aria.
Yeah.
It's like we were like, oh, what are the 4 heroes going to be? Because every set up to that point had 4 heroes.
Right. Yep.
And then it's like, boom, just getting 3 heroes. And it's like, oh, shit. Okay, they can do 3 heroes? That makes sense. Oh, cool. Yeah, like that totally makes sense. Yeah. And everyone's like, yeah. And then it's like, supplemental set, or the supplemental set's coming. Like, we're not getting any new heroes or anything. Fucking Starvo. Like,
yeah,
like
they gave us
always converting what we expect to get from.
Right. And they gave us Starvo, and then they gave us Icelander and Valda and stuff, and you kind of go, oh, cool, we got a couple cool new Blitz heroes, like they'll be fun to try out. And then you start seeing, and then the first thing they reveal with Dynasty or with Uprising is they're like, oh, by the way, Icelander is going to be an adult, and we're going to release her as an adult hero. And it's like, wait, what? Wait,
you can do that?
You can. So now we can do that? Because forever everyone's been trying to figure out, when will Kasai come? When will all these different heroes, when we get them in adult versions? And we were under the impression that would never happen, because they just hadn't done it to us yet. And then they're like, oh, by the way, And then this set comes and it's like,
That never happened, but like
what?
we
Yeah,
were like not expecting it.
we're not
because, like,
expecting it.
hadn't-
Yeah.
No precedent. Yep.
Yeah, there's no precedence. And whenever there's no precedent, it's probably going to happen sooner rather than later at this point, seems to be the more common theme, because we keep thinking, well, maybe they'll do it later, but it wouldn't be this fast.
I was thinking about this when I was driving today after these comments came up.
Yeah.
And I realized that that's one of the things that gets me so excited about this game is because basically LSS is kind of like Charlie in the back of the gang's van from It's Always Sunny. He's just like, they're like, wild card, bitches. Like, next set could be one hero. There's one hero. And you have to draft it in one of 4 different subclasses. And it's like they could do fucking anything they want. And they do, which is wild. And it's exciting.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about this game is how they handle stuff like that.
Yeah, I think they handle that stuff so well. And then they have a good sense of humor about how the game should function and how everything should go. They very much interact with the community, as opposed to just kind of leaving things alone and walking away. Like James has said, he's typically active on Twitter when big events come up, and then kind of steps away and then comes back, right? Those kind of things. But I think the community sometimes, it's so easy to feel disconnected from games and feel disconnected from companies, and they feel like an entity. It's a big company, and they'll release things, and we love to joke about the fact that, you know, they're releasing Soraya sleeves. They released Soraya in the first place, right? We got Soraya, and it's like, cool.
Ooh, so excited.
Light illusionist card. What are we supposed to do with this other than play it in Blitz, because we can't play, and stuff like that. It's funny to joke about. It's good fun to laugh about it, but really their awareness to what is happening and what is going on, and the way that they will just absolutely give you something that is a true gift. I love that they released their Christmas promo stuff for this year. And last year we got the fancy bauble and the bauble mat and the cold foil baubles that everybody has like 30 of in the back of a binder, or you had to take them out because they took up a whole, 4 pages of your binder, and you're like, okay, enough is enough. The bauble's got to go. And then seeing the fact that they named the card Shitty Xmas Gift.
Yeah,
and then
I love that.
Maybe the greatest flavor text yet. Socks again. And it's just Azalea holding socks, and like Lexi sitting there laughing that she's opening her socks, and that
it's great.
Because it still takes time commitment to make those things. Like that's where sometimes people can be stick in the mud about stuff like that, because they'll kind of push it by, like either A, that's a stupid thing to do, or B, okay, cool, so what? Who cares? And they move on.
Have you seen people acting like that? I haven't seen anyone. I haven't seen anyone be like, that's a dumb thing.
Well, I know last year, the cracked bauble thing seemed
the cracked
cool.
bauble thing was, I think people were expecting more.
Right.
When they were talking about like a Christmas promo or like a Christmas kit. Like, they weren't expecting a cracked bauble. I do remember that. But like, with this card, I haven't seen anybody be like that.
I think it's more.
I'm just curious if you.
Yeah, I think I guess maybe I'm projecting that like week 3 of December, when people are getting this promo for the 14th time, potentially they're going to be like, okay, this was cute, but now this is kind of stupid. I wish there was like a good promo to get, because that's the one thing is typically when they do. That's the one thing about like their holiday kit or their December kit, is it doesn't have a prize. There's no good cold foil weapon or item or something with it. It's always just, here's the promo card. They're going to give away 2 mats. There's nothing special this month. And I think sometimes people get kind of like, oh, I wish there was something to go along with it, or I wish there was more to it than, like, it's cool that there's flavor, but like I have 14 cracked baubles now that are Christmas themed. Could I maybe get like something for winning? That's not a cracked bauble. This is kind of stupid. And I get that, but at the same time, I just love that they invest the time to make a fun kit that actually is just for fun and not intended to be super competitive. Go out and grind to win your stuff. And it reminds us that, I think it reminds us of a couple things, that the game should be fun.
The holiday spirit.
We should have a good sense of humor about it, and that it is the holidays. Like, take it easy. We don't have anything to play for right now, really, other than just enjoying the game.
Mhm.
Like, we're playing for enjoyment, really, over the next month and a half, right?
Right.
Like, what are we testing for? Like, we're not already testing for ProQuest. If you are, get a life, man. Like, just take a step back, do something fun. Like, have a good time for once in your life.
Play some Blood Bowl, some Crisis Protocol or something.
Sasha actually asked that. He asked what people. I think it was Sasha. Maybe it was somebody else. He asked what does your play group do like this time of year when it's winter time and things kind of slow down, and it was interesting to see. I wonder if I could find that post because I thought that was a really interesting, and I'm curious what people do because having a time off is good, you know.
Yeah, it is. It's good to just take a vary up life's experiences a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
It's a good opportunity when it's not hot and heavy with fab stuff. So when you're looking that up, Jason requested specifically that we bitch about the fact that Mansant got like
that was his his one
bunch
thing.
Of that was his one request. He wanted like the fact that he got like a whole like
it got a
publicity on their stream and all that. And I just, you know what? I kind of figured out my stance on this. Is like our name, we are not the cool kids haven. You know, we're not the in-crowd haven. And that's okay. It is okay that when we put our stream together, regardless of the effort, that we got a like from LSS on the post. And that was what we got. And that's okay because they are just helping establish our brand. And it's fine. That is a good thing.
It just reinforces our brand that we correctly brand ourselves.
We knew what this was when we started.
we are
going to be the clicks haven, the cool kids on the blocks haven. Like that's not no outcast. We in every game we've played.
Yeah,
we have just been slightly off kilter enough to like not draw in like the pat on the back crew, and that's fine. With us, it's just so that's the bitch, Jason. That's what you get.
That's what you get. I think it has a lot.
I hope you appreciate that. I hope you liked my little jab about the we got a like, and hope that satisfies your need. But
yeah, I think it has a lot to do with the fact too that we're just, you know, we love to play the game, but we do enjoy time off. You know, going back to the time off thing.
Oh, did you find the post?
Yeah. It was actually Michael Fang who posted it. He asked what people do, and it was interesting to see like Taylor from Attack Action said, you know, he's a high school basketball coach, so he's got that.
Mm-hmm.
You've got people talking about Tarek is playing some Magic over the break. He's doing some like RCQs and stuff, I think he said. I know Flake said he's looking forward to the fact that he gets to just actually play Fab because most of his time is spent trying to make content, and he travels and streams and stuff like that. And then some people talked about playing other games. I know Rick from BCW, he said he's going to paint some Age of Sigmar when he has time.
Nice.
So painting, doing that. Somebody said they're going to be crying, begging, waiting for the OP announcement. It's okay. It's going to be fine. It sounds like the people on the other side of the equator are, you know, enjoying a different season as opposed to those of us here. So it's summertime, like in New Zealand. So they're actually not in their winter break. They're in their summer break, enjoying tanning and going to the beach.
Dude, this is really dumb. This is super stupid. Is that how it works? People south of the equator have opposite like their
I don't know if
summer.
I don't know if
that's how that works.
I don't know.
Saying that just made me feel stupid, regardless of whether or not it was right. I was like, I don't know for sure, and I probably should, as an adult, know how that works.
It feels like you know what that feels like? It feels like when somebody makes a reference to geography that you felt pretty confident in, and they make a reference to some geographical thing, and they mention how close two things are or how two things are situated, and you stop for a minute and you try to get your phone out with no one noticing and Google it. shamefully because you want to know for sure what's happening. You don't want to step into the ring and confirm what they're saying when you think it's potentially wrong, but you
Right.
definitely
It's even
yeah.
even if it doesn't sink in, or even if it's like it's just like a passing moment,
Yeah.
that for that moment you
Yeah.
feel I don't feel more like it was a conversation with like rugby buddies, and one of them was talking about Bangkok and like how they were going to South America, and like they were just so
Confident.
like they were so confident in the way they said it, and I was just like, holy shit, is that in South America? I really like I think I just assumed it was in, and like they were just like, and it's just that moment I'm like, no, Thailand, like
Right.
that's like, no, it's not in South America. But like in that moment where like my brain didn't
Yeah.
keep pace, I just was like, how did I not realize that?
It's
And
so
you just feel like an idiot.
it's the equivalent of when you know that you're spelling a word correctly, but when you write
Oh
it
yeah, what's
down
that called?
physically, I
It's
don't
called
know.
something when a word no longer it fuck, they talk about it in Ted Lasso actually.
Okay.
But it's like
I
when a word like no longer sounds like a word, it just sounds like a
yes.
noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Because you
just
say
like,
it too much or you spell it too much.
yeah.
I find that it gets me when I try to write something, like hand write a word
Mm-hmm.
that I'm 100% confident I'm spelling right. But all I think to myself is if I spell this wrong and someone reads this, they're going to
Mm-hmm.
think I'm an idiot. So I open a message on my
Yep.
phone. I open iMessage and just a blank message and I type it in to try to let it autocorrect it. Because your two
This
options when you spell a word incorrectly and autocorrect are it is correct, so there's no line. It's well, I guess there's a third option. It's incorrect and they fix it, or you are so far incorrect that it doesn't even have a
mm-hmm.
suggestion, which
Yeah.
that's catastrophic. Like mentally, when you try to
I
spell a word
remember
and you can't
I
get
remember
it
what
to
my last
autocorrect,
word was.
yeah,
My last word, and this was like legitimately probably over half a year ago. Like it was within the last year, but I was writing the word wild, like WILD,
yeah,
and I was writing it and I was like, that's not right. And I had it in my head that it was like I was saying it wrong because like it's like it looks like willed, and it's like wild. This is what is there is there an E? Is it WEILD? No, like it's wild. That'd be wield. Like I could not. I'm like wild does not look like the word, and it is. It's just WILD, and that's it.
I just for you, I googled it. I googled are seasons opposite in Australia just because now I felt like I needed to know. The seasons in the northern hemisphere are the opposite of those in the southern hemisphere, meaning that in Argentina and Australia, winter begins in June.
That's so fucking wild. I don't know that I've ever traveled to the southern hemisphere. I've gone. Oh no, that's a lie because I deployed. Right?
So you know what it is.
That's in the southern. Middle East is in the southern hemisphere, right?
I
I
think
should know where it is.
it depends
I
on
just got on a
yeah.
I just got on a plane and then got off a plane and I was in the desert.
Somebody was giving you paychecks. They were giving you they were depositing money into your account to get you to do something, and
fucking
you just
matter
did
where
it.
I
You
was.
didn't even it didn't
Yeah,
matter where you were as
they're
long as
like
the
go over there.
yeah.
And I was like, okay. Yeah, I fucking don't know where it was.
I just I you know
That's
what I
southern hemisphere, I think.
yeah I don't or it's around the equator for
No, because
sure.
their wintertime was during our wintertime. It was
So they're just
September
probably
through whatever
they're
was like
just
their winter
close to the
rainy season.
equator is what it is. They're close
Okay,
to the
I'm not
equator,
gonna
but just
fucking look
now you got
that
to look
up.
it up.
Jesus Christ, Blake!
This is a
This isn't supposed to
fact.
be an educational podcast.
This is a fact checking podcast where we're just people are gonna. This is going to confirm. There's going to be a
I
lot
don't think
of.
it is in the southern. I don't think it is in the southern hemisphere.
It's probably just north of the equator, is what it is. It's just
Or
because
it's
it's
like
close to
on
the
the
equator that's all
yeah.
deserts. Yeah. You might have accidentally passed the equator. You know, I don't know. I don't even know where the equator is at this point. I live in Minnesota. I'm never close to the equator.
It's
Like
the
I'm.
equator. We're just totally exposing how stupid we are. Is the equator? The equator does not run through the United States, right? That's something of the grain belt. Like that's like
The grain
that's like
belt.
a
That's
that's
just
like
isn't the grain belt just an explanation of like
I thought it was like a point where like grain grows really well along like
I don't know if
this.
it's like a I
Like
don't know if that's like a
I don't
breakdown
think
of
it's an
like an
actual
actual
thing,
thing,
but like
right?
it just happens to be. No, okay, no, that's dumb. The equator does not run through the United States. I don't think.
You know what's funny about
I
so
don't fucking
So
Jesus Christ, we're fucking morons.
Okay, so I will make an argument that I went to public school in Iowa, and we're not.
Okay, I found it. It
Okay.
runs through South America. We're fine.
So,
And I was north of it still. So yes, I don't think I've ever traveled south of the equator, ever.
so
Nope.
I think so. Here's maybe the saddest part is that I will argue that I went to public school in Iowa, and Iowa is not that well known for their public school. Minnesota is actually known as one of like it's pretty well known throughout the country as one of the best, having one of the best education systems in the country. And the fact that we're sitting here questioning so many of these things really makes me.
That's more because we're idiots, though. Like my school, for being what my school was,
Yeah.
I feel like I got a lot. I do feel like I got a lot out of high school, and it was like a borderline rural, like St. Francis sounds like a fancy private school, and it was not. It was like Thursdays were tractor day. Like it was like some fucking Iowa shit, probably. Honestly.
Hey, just because I lived in Iowa doesn't mean I grew up on a farm. I just want to point that out. I also want to point out that, yes,
90% of the people you went to school with did grow up on a farm. No, actually,
so
your school was not that. Yeah.
No, it was not that. But to be fair, we do. It is a classic example of like Iowa is not all farms, but if you didn't specifically grow up on a farm, you probably have an uncle who owns a farm, and that is 100% true. My uncle is a farmer. But yeah, we just kind of exposed. Maybe this is why LSS is like, we're going to keep giving them stuff because they're really passionate about this, but we're not like.
We can't trust them with much. Like, if we're being honest. Like, we got to be real careful with those guys.
They were concerned about what was going to happen on the live stream. James was like, I'm going to like this, but I'm not going to retweet it because that means I'm directly associated with them. And God only knows.
If I retweet this and Blake goes off the rails, I get that to some extent, you know. At no point have we. I don't know how to say this politely. At no point have we really suckled the teat much, I suppose.
Of anybody?
Yeah. I mean, like,
yeah.
You know, like I don't know how. I guess I don't know how else to say that. Like we haven't rubbed up with anyone. You know, like,
look,
hey, let's be buddy. Like
right,
we had like people that we had talked to a lot because we really like their content and like had them on and we go back and forth and stuff. But like. As far as like people at LSS or whatever, it's like we haven't been like, hey, I'm gonna keep texting you and like,
look,
we're gonna pretend like we're really close. And
right?
Like, it's like, we haven't done any of that. So.
None of us. We would never be the guys who got a promotion because we rubbed shoulders with the right people on the elevator. That's just not who we are as people, and I think it kind of bleeds into our content creation where I like people, I'm friendly with everybody, but I don't go out of my way to like.
We also don't like people though, and like when we don't like people, we don't care enough about content creation in and of itself to pretend like we do like people.
Yeah.
I think that's probably where our biggest hiccups lie in the mid, like at the beginning, especially like when like new content creators were coming out, and it's like we should like partner with them when we watch their stuff, and it's like, dude, I don't know if I would talk to this dude. Like, I don't know if I would want to do that.
We are who we are, and it's
just lone wolves. Just lone wolves.
It's just who we are. No.
Oh my god.
I can't. I'm retiring.
Anyways.
It's
So,
been real.
What else do we have?
I think one of the big things is it kind of goes back to the Christmas when we were talking about LSS having a good sense of humor. I think maybe my favorite piece of news this week was finding out that LSS was doing right by the UK community, who definitely caught some pretty wicked disruption in their Nats situation by giving them a special or giving them a promo. They want to give them a promo, just kind of like a, hey, we know it's not huge. It's kind of a token of our, like, we want to apologize. It's a token of our appreciation for your community and the fact that acknowledging we definitely kind of that kind of got pooched. You know, they pooched the UK Nat situation pretty bad. And I thought, oh, that's very cool. And then I thought to myself, this is why I love this company and why I think I will just play this game forever, even as maybe I don't have the time to play it competitively all the time. or necessarily be as involved with the game. I will always be around this game, and I'm gonna just be one of those old old dogs that show up. It's like, I've been playing since back when they had arcade. We only had 2 sets when I started. Just because LSS's ability to like make a joke with the simplest thing is so spectacular. Tell me that they didn't 100% look at all the cards in the set, all the promos they had access to, and go, you know what promo we're giving to the UK for their Nats disruption? Regicide. That's the card. That's the one we're doing. Like, come on. Of all the things that they could have picked, they have to have just rooms full of stuff that they could give out to stuff. And they thought to themselves, you know what I'm going to do? I think we should take the one card in this set that is about killing monarchs, and we should send that to the UK as an apology for the Nats disruption they had around the death of their queen. I guess my question is, I think it's hilarious, but also, how do New Zealanders feel about the monarchy as a whole?
That's a good question. I don't know. Australia, New Zealand, I don't know how that all interacts. To be honest, I didn't even know that their seasons were opposite. So like, I'm pretty out of the loop on that. Like,
when it
on
comes
their
to
whole
them as a
situation,
country,
everything you got going on down there, I don't know. So
the thing we mainly know about Australia and New Zealand that we were clarified on was that Australians and New Zealand say the word deck differently, because for a long time we made the joke that it was funny that they all talked about their deeks and their dicks.
Pretty nice dick.
And we were very quickly corrected by Australians that is not them. They do not say it that way. It is only the
New
Kiwis.
Zealand says dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We pretty much know nothing about down there, including when your seasons are, national holidays. We got nothing. So I definitely need to know from the New Zealanders. I would love to know, like, maybe this is too controversial for the comment. No, nothing is too controversial for the comments of our podcast.
Yeah, what are they going to do?
What do you think about the monarchy?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like, is it a joke? Like, is that kind of like is that something that LSS is having fun with it because they're kind of simultaneously being like, yeah, fuck the Royals, Like, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what that works like.
It is very funny though. I also wonder if it was just like it's like the legend, one of the legendary cards from the set. And they're like, just did it, and they're like, oh shit, maybe we shouldn't have sent that one, but it's already shipped. So I mean, I like to think that it was deliberate, but who knows?
I would love, because James White loves to say like ship it and stuff like that. We always like to joke about just sending it. Sometimes you just send it.
Fucking sending it.
Just, are you kidding? Are you kidding? I'm just gonna send it. Like, did they decide on that? And James was like, this is what we're going with. And someone goes, do you think it's appropriate? And James just leaned back and goes, you kidding me?
Send it.
Just going to send it. And they're
ship it.
All right, yeah. Just ship it, baby. Ship it. They went full send on it.
I have no idea what he's like professionally.
Right.
But I like to imagine that someone brought that to his attention and he just like chuckled behind his desk and said, yeah, go ahead. Like, there's just like a little chuckle of like, he's like, oh shit, that is kind of funny. Yeah, go ahead. Like, I have no idea, but
I mean, I always like
my head canon.
See, my head canon is always like overly dramatic. Like, he sent the email to let them know what they were going to do, and then he turned around in his chair at his desk and just waited until someone came into his office so that he could do a dramatic reveal. They were like, James, do you realize what you want to send to them? And he just turns around and just goes, yes, I do.
Yeah.
And then just cackled or something. Like, I don't know.
We hate the British Royals.
I don't know.
New Zealand. We don't know.
He did post something, I think personally, that was actually rather nice, and something about the
obviously
about it. So, which was it's the correct thing.
If you're there, obviously this is all in jest, and it's very.
Did for the first time ever, did we just clarify that something was a joke? Was that the first?
I mean, I don't have any issues with the monarchy, I guess.
I see my only thoughts on the monarchy always go back to the episode of Parks and Rec where Ron goes over there and he tries to pay them. He tries to purchase a postcard and he's like hands them $1 and they're like, "Oh, we don't take American money here." And he goes, "Sure you do. That's an American dollar bill." And they're like, "But we don't take it here." And he says he's what is his comment? He goes, "Okay, well, have a good life knowing that your overlords are a frail old woman and a tiny baby," or something like that.
Yes.
And that's my brain always goes to like Ron Swanson's interaction, which is mainly funny because Nick Offerman is like the opposite of Ron Swanson. He plays the absolute opposite of his character. So yeah, I don't know. It's great. It's pretty good stuff. So do you have anything else you want to talk about this week? Anybody else that you would like to just lay into? We've done it quite a bit. We just kind of let people have it.
Everything's really low key right now. I'm feeling like I'm fucking wiped. I've been working extra for Christmas and stuff. So like I'm cool to wrap a little early. How long have we been going?
We've been going like 50 minutes, so it's after I do some editing, get a little bit of editing magic, it'll be just shy of an hour. It's good quality stuff. That's good quality TV. The people will love it. Especially these parts where it's just not worth the editing time to go back and take these kind of little side conversations out that early on we would have like, "Oh, we got to take this out so nobody sees behind the curtain." Sorry, guys. You're gonna see it all.
I never really edited out whole chunks ever. I don't think.
I don't like editing. I prefer podcasts where it just feels like my favorite radio on planet Earth has always been like sports talk radio, where it's just like Dan Patrick or somebody talking for like 3 hours and doing interviews where he just kind of sometimes he goes off the rails and says some stuff and you're like, yeah, this is what I love about it. It's way better than like Sports Center where everything is broadcast and produced and perfect. The difference between maybe somebody else's stream of a Battle Hardened and say our stream, where at one point I think we had like 5 people huddled around 2 mics. It's but that's
not professional.
That's what you do.
That's why we don't get shout outs.
That's what you do when you're a lone wolf. I don't know. That's fine. Well, everybody, thanks for hanging out. I don't know. I went off the rails. Classic. We just keep proving why they're careful to associate too closely with us. But it's okay.
How's your week in Marvel Snap been?
My week in Marvel Snap, it's been pretty good. I don't know why when I got reset like all the way to 10. Did you get set to 10?
No. You drop 3. So if you are, even if it doesn't matter what, if you're in the 50s, you go down 30. So if you're in the 50s, doesn't matter if it's 51 or 59, you go to 20.
Oh, well, that explains why. I should have been more careful because I wasn't really paying attention. I was just
You're
playing.
Probably like 49 or something.
It's like 48 or 40. I kept dipping, going up to like 52 and then going back to 48. I was like like bouncing around, and I must have gone into the 40s before I just called it a night that night.
I was dicking the first season. I was dicking around with like a lot of different like decks and like not really grinding for a rank, but like trying to. I was playing with like I would take all my gray cards and be like, how can I make this somewhat functional so I could get the cheaper upgrades on the
you made
gray
it
cards.
Functional. You went functional. I didn't even go functional. I just played a bunch of cards.
Like, I'm running this 20 cards. It's 20 deck or 12 gray cards. Here we go.
Yeah.
But so I was doing that a lot, and I'd drop like 5 and go back up 5, and I got up to 68 or 69. My goal this time is to actually reach infinite, just for shits and giggles. And I got a super fun Ultron deck. I've got enough of the pool 3 cards to make that somewhat viable. Black Widow's fucking awesome. Anyways, yeah, I've had a good week.
I'm like
fun.
I'm back up like around close to 50 again. So I do the same thing. I kind of dick around and I'll play a bunch of games and be like, yeah, I'm winning. This deck is really good. I really like it. And then classic fashion, I get kind of bored of the deck and I mess with something else. I'm like, oh, I'm going to play this other deck for a while for no reason. And I'll lose like 8 ranks because I keep getting very close. And I'm like, I think I can win this thing if I play this card. And I'm just too greedy. That's like my biggest issue is I think I get too greedy at times when I should just bail. It's like, yeah, sure, we double snapped and I could just lose 4, but I'm going all in on this one. It's like, mathematically, you idiot, there's nothing you could do to win. Stop trying to win this game. And I just absolutely kill myself. So
Dude, this Ultron deck is super. It I win so many 8 cube matches with it. So I was dicking around. I dropped to 30 because I was at like 68 or something like that, and then um so I was bouncing around like 45 ish this time, like just messing
Yeah.
with it because I kept unlocking cool. I unlocked like death and like a bunch of these pool 3 cards that I'm like, I want to build a deck around that. And even though you don't have the pieces and you try to make it work or
Yeah.
whatever. But I did have enough stuff to make Ultron work. And like Ultron being your 6 drop, and like filling the board if you're running like Khazar, Blue Marvel. Like
Yeah.
I don't have Patriot yet, but when I get Patriot, that's for sure going in. Like, just like stuff like that that lets you buff that and you just
Mm.
add power across the board. It's like if you get that, like if I get an opening hand of like Khazar, Blue Marvel, and Ultron,
Yeah.
like and depending on what the locations are too, the locations make the game so fucking fun.
Yeah. It's super interesting.
Because like it's because there's been games where like I've just like passed, I've like snapped right away and then passed, turn 4 Khazar, turn 5 Blue Marvel, and then turn 6 Ultron, and then
Ultron.
just fill the board with like all this shit. And it's like you can't play cards this like it's like the Sanctum Sanctorum and all this shit. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, he snapped on like my 4th skip or my 3rd skip. And it's like, yeah, I'm getting 8 cubes off you, motherfucker, and just fill
Yeah.
it.
I love I
It's
play
fucking awesome.
my favorite deck is like a destroy deck, and it's just all about building destroy
Yeah,
like up to like
Destroy is super fun.
playing
I got Venom and I tried to make that work. That was one of my.
I love the deck with death, because I had a game where I completely blew somebody out when I was able to just keep destroying things, and I had a location where it's like, when you play a card here, destroy it. So I kept throwing Deadpool, and every turn I was just like throwing Deadpool to get him to die.
Oh, you got Deadpool.
Yeah.
See, I only have Death for like that upper tier
Okay.
deck.
Yep.
I don't have any of the other stuff. So like, I
Okay.
don't
Yeah.
have Wave. I don't have Deadpool. I don't have what's
Yeah.
some other like high tier destroy card.
I
That's basically all I got. So
I love Deadpool, and like even with like Carnage and all that stuff, it's great because like sometimes, and then I realized that it doesn't matter if you destroy them, like typically, or if you just destroy one of their cards. So like Electra is
Yondu,
super good. Yandu, you get so much value out of all your little one costs. And so I played I did it once where somebody double snapped. They snapped me back after I snapped them because I had my death down to 0. I destroyed 9 cards, and I had death, and I just put Hulk in the deck as like another big bomb if I can't get her out. And I'm sitting there with Hulk and death, and like my Nexus is wide open. It's just like, oh, we're gonna win all 3 locations with this. You just casually drop 24 power into a Nexus and just blow up all the other locations. You're like, yeah, nope, I win here. This is it, baby.
Yeah, I was messing around with an Infinite deck too, and
Yeah.
I didn't. I just all I did was I dropped Sunspot in Nexus.
Yep.
And then just passed, and then dropped Infinite. Just had 34 across the board. It was like, yeah, I win. Oh, dude, no. Okay, so I was super proud of this play. It was my fucking biggest brain play so far, and then we can end, and we can be done. But unless you think of something,
No.
But,
Yeah.
So turn 2, I was playing my Ultron deck, and I had like, what did I have? Khazar, Blue Marvel, and like Squirrel Girl, I think. So I was like, okay, this actually ain't bad. I can go decently like wide across the board and win some like. So and then on turn 2 we both Black Widowed each other, and then turn 3 the location flipped, and it was at the end of this game or at the beginning of turn 6 switch hands. So I had a handful of cards that I was like, I've got a curve for the rest of the game. I don't need to draw, knowing that he's not going to have a turn 6 if I keep my Widow's Bite, because he's getting my hand.
He's getting
on
your
turn
hand.
6.
Yeah.
So I just played my curve out, and then he dropped turn 5. He dropped a Black Panther and like doubled up and won 1 location. But I was still winning 2 locations, and then we swapped hands, and he had the Widow's Bite that was in my hand that now he doesn't draw at all. So all he has in his hand is a Widow's Bite, and I was just like, cubes, please.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I fucking held that shit.
As
soon as that location flipped up, it was great.
I love scooping 8 cubes off of somebody. What on like a game that you're just like, yep, I got a free win here. We're gonna go ahead and take this one. This will be mine. I'll take these 8 cubes for free. Thank you. Please and thank you. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I got.
Yeah, I got nothing else. We've we've had a chill week, played some Blood Bowl, got a Blood Bowl game for the league this weekend. We're gonna play some Twilight
Yep.
Imperium on Saturday. That's gonna be epic.
I'm pumped for
So-
that. It's gonna be a long night, but it's gonna be fun.
Worth it, totally worth it. Yeah. So yeah, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for always tuning in, for commenting. I love the comments. I love seeing the comments, whether they're humorous or hot takes or whatever they are. They're always a ton of fun
Just
to
your
read the
thoughts.
comments. And
We've had some really good ones
Yeah.
lately, like engaging comments. So I'm
Yeah.
super appreciative of that.
Yep. So
So,
I like counterpoints.
it up.
I think sometimes people don't like counterpoint on their comments, but I like when people give us their opinions and they're different than ours, because I like to see what everybody thinks. That's my biggest interest with content creation, has been the fact that it gives us an opportunity to kind of see what other people think about things that we think about. So, keep the comments coming. We appreciate it. I am curious what other people, I know it was interesting reading Michael's post about what other people's plans were this winter or summer, I guess, depending on where you are.
Comment what
Interesting
you plan on
factoid.
doing.
Yeah, what are you going to do this year in the as the seasons change? We got a little downtime. Are you going to be like us and crank out some minis games? Is that your off season? Are you going to play another card game? Or are you just going to take some time off? I think that's good too. It's always good to clear the headspace and get yourself ready. So thank you again for
I got
listening.
tons of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks
Nope,
for
sorry.
thanks for
We're done. I don't know
we're
why I
done.
started a conversation. Fuck this.
But thank you guys, everybody, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Peace.